Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to round one of the Class 3A Region 5 playoffs. Live from CPU High School, I'm Darvin Graham. I'll be with you for the duration this evening. South Tama on the road tonight to take on the Center Point-Urbana Stormin Pointers. CPU has been up and down this season. They find themselves in the kind of tail end of the Class 3A rankings with some big matchups on their resume. South Tama coming in tonight 13-19 overall. Got a win at the WAMAC tournament last week, and they're hoping for their first playoff win in some time. But South Tama sitting at 13 wins, 19 losses on the season, and should be a fun matchup here tonight in Center Point. All right, taking a look at this matchup. We are about 7 minutes away from first serve as the teams are getting warmed up on the court this evening. South Tama looks to have everybody except Madeline Paxton is not dressed this evening. So the rest of the roster is all warming up, getting ready to go. CPU, I believe, is fully available, last I was able to see. And we'll go over starters just before we get into the start of tonight's contest. So for this Center Point-Urbana Stormin Pointers team, they come in ranked 14th out of the top 15 rankings in Class 3A. These two teams haven't actually played each other since CPU made the switch over into the eastern side of the WAMAC Conference. They haven't played each other since 2022. They didn't face each other this year in regular season action, and they didn't last year either. So the last time they played was in 2022. CPU got a 3-set sweep in that one, but South Tama has gotten a win against the Stormin Pointers back in 2021. So it has not been like a big losing streak like they had against the Benton Bobcats. CPU has, gone down to the Trojans in the last couple of years. So that should make for an exciting matchup tonight here in Center Point. But kind of looking down the resume, this CPU team started off their year with a bang. They played a neutral court matchup against the Clear Creek Amana Clippers, WAMAC conference mates, but CCA came off of an undefeated regular season, got tripped up in the playoffs, but they have been about as hot as a 3A volleyball team has been in the last few years. They've just really been dominant in their Class 3A competition. So they started off the year, they not only defeated Clear Creek Amana, they swept them in 3 straight sets, 25-19, 25-19, and 25-15 on a neutral court. So that's how the CPU team started things off in the season, and here they are tonight. They have had a season full of tough competitions. Kind of going down their wins resume, they have wins against 2 wins against a 14th ranked Grinnell team. They're currently ranked 14th in Class 4A. They've got a win against 2A third ranked Dyersville Beckman Catholic. That was a 2-0 sweep in tournament play. They've got a September win against 3A 12th ranked Solon. That was 3-1 in that WAMAC conference duel. They've got a win against 2A 12th ranked Sumner Fredericksburg, 4A 10th ranked Marion, and 3A 6th ranked Davenport Assumption. That was a 2-1. They actually split wins with Assumption, and got that win on October 12th. So going down, that's a half dozen or more wins against ranked teams. They've also seen some of the top competition across Class 5A, across 3A. So they've got losses and matchups against 5A's top-ranked Pleasant Valley. That was an 0-2 tournament loss. They also faced West Des Moines Valley, and got a set off of them, lost 2-1 against 5A 13th ranked West Des Moines Valley. They ended up getting tripped up against Mount Vernon, which the Mount Vernon Mustangs, they're kind of in the position that CCA was in last year, and Mount Vernon has just been on a tear. And if you look at the WAMAC conference individual statistics, there's a number for overall aces in serving. Mount Vernon has 4 of the top 5 players in that aces stat category. Consequently enough, South Tama has one as well. They've got Jeanette Cervantes. She's sitting at 3rd in that WAMAC conference statistical ranking with 53 aces. She's had a dynamite season from the service line, and will definitely play a real role for South Tama tonight against this matchup with CPU. So some of their, they've got some good losses, if you want to call it that way, and they come in 18-12. So they've taken some losses, but they've been against pretty good competition. They've only lost 4 matches against teams that are not currently in the IGH SAU rankings. They've got losses against Van Meter, Osage, Monticello, and Cedar Rapids Kennedy. And then the rest have all been top 5, top 10 ranked teams, the losses that they've had. So they've also lost to Mount Vernon, Regina Catholic, West Delaware, who's having an incredible season, another WAMAC team that's been extremely competitive this year. They got 2 sets off of West Delaware, though. That was a 3-2 finish back in early October. And then they also lost to Dyke New Hartford. Dyke New Hartford, they've had that run of state tournament bursts in the last few years. Have had those super dominant girls basketball and volleyball teams. I think they are kind of on the downslide a little bit after graduating some pretty key seniors last year. But still, Dyke New Hartford ranked 4th in the Class 2A standings at the end of the season. And they got a win against the CPU team. So that's kind of a look at the team coming in for this CPU Stormin Pointers team, and kind of who are these players? Who are some of their stat leaders? They are led by senior Addie Tupa. She's got 209 kills to lead her team. She is a outside hitter. Only stands 5'6", so she must have some real jumping capabilities. Leads the team with 209 kills. Right behind her, though, a 6-foot sophomore, Brielle Trout. She's got 177 kills. And then third for the Stormin Pointers, Brinley Havel. She's a sophomore with 138 kills. With in the blocks category, they've got a senior, Avery Hazlitt. She's got 66 total blocks, and she's at top 5 in the WAMAC standings in the blocks category. And then Trout with 41, Havel with 26. So that's kind of their front line, I would expect. In the digs category, Gracie Hoskins is their digs leader. She's also top 5 in the WAMAC with 339 digs on the season. And Hoskins also leads the team in aces, so one of their top servers. Hoskins, a senior, she has 30 aces on the season. Shifting over to the South Tama County Trojans. They come in with a 13-19 record. Their best win output in several seasons. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe going back past COVID in the late 2010s is when South Tama last had, above 12 wins. So they got 13 here. They ended the season with a couple of WAMAC victories. They got a 3-0 win against Vinton-Shellsburg a few weeks ago in dual play. The following week, they followed that up with a win against Benton Community. And then in their tournament, their WAMAC conference tournament, they lost in 2 sets to Solon, but they again swept Vinton-Shellsburg 2-0. So they come in with wins against Vinton-Shellsburg, Benton, Tripola, Belle Plaine, Lisbon, East Marshall, Collins-Maxwell, Meskwaki. Ooh, we had a little microphone snafu there. Meskwaki, Linville-Sully, Des Moines-Hoover, Urbandale, and Mount Pleasant. Those are the wins for your South Tama County Trojans coming into tonight. Some of their stat leaders. They've got sophomore hitter Paisley Bro leading in kills, 175 on the total on the season. Jeanette Cervantes, one of the team captains, is right behind Bro with 128 kills. She's also got the highest kill efficiency on the team, sitting at a 239 kill average. Macy Welsh is third in kills for the team with 101. Blocks leader for the Trojans, Macy Welsh. She'll get a start tonight. She's got 36 total blocks on the season. Right behind her is freshman Kinsley Bariski. The digs leader for the Trojans is the libero captain, senior Kaylee Brown, and the aces leader, as we mentioned, Jeanette Cervantes, the senior captain, one of 3 captains. She's got 53 aces on the season. So right now here, we'll just kind of bring you up to speed. We are just getting announcements underway, and we have our starting lineups tonight. And then we will be underway in this Class 3A Region 5 matchup. The winner of tonight's contest will advance on to play Thursday, and they'll play either Vinton-Shellsburg or Anamosa. Starters for the STC Trojans. Across the front, sophomore Maddie Bariski. Number 9, senior outside hitter Jeanette Cervantes. Number 8, senior middle hitter Macy Welsh. Number 10, junior hitter Riley Ridout. In the back row will be number 17, freshman defensive specialist Briley Nelson. setter for tonight, the Trojans will have number 4, senior Skylar Beck, and the libero for the STC Trojans, senior Kaylee Brown. For the Stormin Pointers, starters tonight for CPU. Number 2, senior outside hitter Addie Tupa. She stands 5'6". Number 3, in the back row, senior defensive specialist Adeline Wade. She stands 5'3". The setter for the Stormin Pointers, number 6, a junior setter J.C. Grennan. In the middle, number 11, 5'9" senior Avery Hazlitt. Number 15, 6-foot sophomore Brielle Trout. And another hitter for the Stormin Pointers, number 14, freshman Adeline Stein. All right, we're going to pause for the national anthem. We'll be right back with first serve here from Center Point. All right, welcome back live from Center Point-Urbana High School. Darvin Graham here with you this evening. We were just about to get things going here between South Tama and CPU. It will be CPU's J.C. Grennan to serve first for the Stormin Pointers. Serve is underway, received cleanly. Macy Welsh will fire down the middle. It will be out of bounds, point to the Pointers. 1-0, CPU leading with Grennan at the service line. South Tama again with Beck, Welsh, Cervantes, Nelson, Brown, and Boriski. Second serve up and away, and there's Jeanette Cervantes thrown down a kill to stop the run. 1-1 the score, opening set action here in Center Point. Again, tonight's winner will advance on to the second round. That'll be Thursday in Anamosa against either Anamosa or Vinton-Shellsburg. Serve from Skylar Beck goes over, and it gets received and just tipped over from the far corner. Point to CPU. 2-1 now the score. CPU leading in this first set, and that brings up number 7, Reese Johannes. She's a senior hitter. She'll serve from the near side. Serve to the back row. Cervantes picks it up. Here's Boriski. Big swing. And she can't track down that far line either. It goes long and out of bounds. 3-1 now the score. Second serve for CPU is underway. Nelson picks it up. Cervantes will fire again, this time from the right corner. It's dug out. And CPU, Brindley Havel, tried to return it. A little one-hander, kind of shanks into the net. Kill error will give a point to the Trojans, 3-2. And now Cervantes will go back to serve for the Trojans. Nelson rotates out. Paisley Bro now into the game. Cervantes' serve, back and forth. Goes back to the South Tama side. Brown setting up Bro. One-hander into the block. Tip back over to the South Tama side. Bro returns it now onto the CPU side. Here's a set and a swing from Havel, and it's no good. Out of bounds, point to the Trojans. We're tied back up 3-all. Still first set action if you're just tuning in. And this is Jeanette Cervantes' second serve. Straight down the middle, picked up by the libero. Big swing there by number 14, Stein, into the block. It gets poked over to the South Tama side. Boriski has to kind of just shove it over. And that was number 5 on the return, Vanessa Garnett. She just kind of tips it into the middle, right into the donut there, and it drops for a point for CPU. That'll bring up the libero, Gracie Hoskins, to the service line. 4-3, CPU leading, first set action. Hoskins serve, picked up by Bro. She passes it over. Kind of a diagonal shot there by Stein. Picked up by the Trojans. Bro, a big swing in the corner, and it goes down for a kill. Tied back up at 4. 4-4 here in the first set. Kaylee Brown rotates out for Riley Ridout, the junior. And Macy Welsh will step back to serve, her first serve of the night. Up and away, dug out by the libero for CPU. Big swing in the corner there for number 14, Adeline Stein. And she gets one to drop. 5-4 after the kill by Stein. Number 8 coming on, Maya Burkhart steps in for Grennan on the CPU side, and it'll be Stein to serve. Stein set up right in the middle. Straight up and down. And Ridout a little trouble at the net getting it returned, and it'll fall for an error. Point to the CPU Stormin Pointers, 6-4. 6-4 now the score here, first set action. Stein on her second serve. Up and away, right down the middle. Dug out by Kaylee Brown. Big swing by Boriski. It's out of bounds again. That'll be another point for the Pointers. 7-4 your score here in this opening set. Skylar Beck setting up a big shot there for Paisley Bro, and she gets it to drop. And Paisley Bro, one of the more dominant hitters for this South Tama team, really able to use the frame. One of the taller, longer players on this team as well, able to really elevate and get one down. Here's Scout Ridout, the freshman, coming in to serve. She just rotates in off the bench. Ridout serve low down the middle. And there's a big swing from CPU on the return, and it's good for a point. That was Maya Burkhart just off the bench. Kind of punishing the Trojans along the near sidelines here. So in your mind's eye as you're listening this evening, South Tama in their blue jerseys, and they're kind of on the left side of the court here in your mind's eye. CPU in all pink tonight. They're on the right side. Serve from CPU, returned by Bro. Tip over from Burkhart. Vanessa Veit now into the game. She sets up a shot from Bro, and this one goes into the net. Kill error will give a 2-point lead now to CPU. The score 8-6. 8-6 here in the first set. Number 3, Adeline Wade. She's a defensive specialist, rotates in to serve now. Wade's serve into the back line. Veit setting up Ridout. Little tip over on the CPU side, goes high, and then a big swinging shot from Addie Tupa. Returned by Paisley Bro. And number 15, Brielle Trout, kind of stuck in the middle there. Thought the ball was going to go one way, and she had to kind of turn herself at a weird angle, but she just kind of punches it over, and South Tama kind of asleep in the middle, unable to collapse, and now it's 10-5. Good save there by Kaylee Brown, diving into the middle to save an ace. And there's a block from Paisley Bro. Okay, the block went out of bounds. So an out of bounds block. It was a good effort there by her on the left side, but the The ball just ricochets out, and we've got a timeout. South Tama's Sam Cantonwine calling her first timeout this evening, and South Tama now looking at a 6-point deficit, trailing 11-5 here in the first set. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Trojan Country would like to say thank you to all of our local fall season sponsors. They include Gary Bock State Farm, Iowa Premium, MercyCare Tama, Stein-Hrabak Floor Coverings, Hrabak Lumber, Medicap Pharmacy, TFD Photo and Film, Kruse-Phillips Funeral Home, Marquess and Hoyer Law Office, Tommy Hexter for Iowa, S&S Car Wash, Darling Ingredients, The Pump, Scharnweber's, Eric H. Media, Assured Partners Insurance, State Bank of Toledo, and Appraisal and Real Estate Services. Welcome back live from CPU High School. Midway through this first set, South Tama trailing 11-5 out of this timeout. CPU just served away. The return off the serve goes out of bounds. Last touch by South Tama. The score now 12-5. And we still have Adeline Wade, number 3, at the service line. This is her third serve. And the serve is kind of picked up at a weird angle, but South Tama manages to get up and over. But Wade was right there. No, excuse me, that was Maya Burkhart just kind of crashing the far side of the net. And not a hard swing at all, but gets a kill to drop in the middle of the South Tama defense. And that's where South Tama's had some troubles tonight, just picking up in that defensive center. Here's a big swing from Paisley Bro. A one-handed punch, and CPU having trouble hanging on. It's going to drop for a point, so that'll be another kill for Bro. And she will rotate out. And Erica Weiss will come on. There's another senior for South Tama. She will just rotate in to serve. Up on the front line now, we have Kinsley Bariski, Jeanette Cervantes, Riley Ridout, Vanessa Veit still the setter, and Kaylee Brown, the libero. There's a big swing after the return. On the return from Weiss's serve, it goes into the block. Ridout and Bariski go up and ricochet it down to the CPU side. Point South Tama. The score now 13-7. Serve is away from Weiss, and that'll drop for an ace, the first ace of the night for South Tama. Erica Weiss gets one to go. 13-8 midway into this first set. South Tama has not really led in this first set. CPU's pulled away here a little bit, but South Tama claws back a couple points. Weiss's serve, long. This one goes out of bounds. 14-8. As Hoskins rotates out, in for the Stormin Pointers, number 26, who we don't have on our sheet. So 26, a mystery player tonight. Serve return, kind of a kill error there on the South Tama front line. Will drop for a point. South Tama unable to return the serve, so the score now 15-8. The next serve is pushed over back to the CPU side, still kind of rattling around, and a shot from Addie Tupa goes out of bounds. Trojans get the serve back here, trying to close this gap. 15-9 the score. This is first set action. Kaylee Brown's the server now for STC. Right set up in the middle, and she'll go right down the middle. Big swing there by number 26, dug out by Nelson. And the return from Cervantes out of bounds. South Tama's had some trouble kind of locating those sidelines tonight. Into the game now, J.C. Grennan rotates in for Burkhart. Grennan will serve. Low serve straight down the middle. Briley Nelson digs it out. And it ricochets. Nelson digs it out. The front block for CPU quickly returns it, and South Tama's unable to collapse quick enough. Another point for the Pointers. 17-9 the score. Grennan's second serve coming up. Goes right to Nelson again. She digs it out. Good tip over there by Macy Welsh. Comes back to the South Tama side. Veit setting up Cervantes, but a whistle and a net violation against South Tama. Point to the Pointers. 18-9, another timeout called by STC's Sam Cantonwine. Trojan Country would like to say thank you to all of our local fall season sponsors. They include Gary Bock State Farm, Iowa Premium, MercyCare Tama, Stein-Hrabak Floor Coverings, Hrabak Lumber, Medicap Pharmacy, TFD Photo and Film, Kruse-Phillips Funeral Home, Marquess and Hoyer Law Office, Tommy Hexter for Iowa, S&S Car Wash, Darling Ingredients, The Pump, Scharnweber's, Eric H. Media, Assured Partners Insurance, State Bank of Toledo, and Appraisal and Real Estate Services. Welcome back out of this timeout. South Tama trailing Center Point-Urbana 18-9, the score right now here in this first set. We just had a timeout from South Tama. Back onto the court, Kinsley Bariski, Vanessa Veit, Macy Welsh, Jeanette Cervantes, Briley Nelson, and Kaylee Brown. The serve is up and away for CPU. It's returned by the Trojans. Punch back to the CPU side. There's a swing from Adeline Stein, and that's a towering kill there for the freshman. 19-9, a 10-point lead widening out here for CPU. Serve picked up by the Trojans. Passed over by Veit, and it goes out of bounds. 20-9 the score now. Another low serve straight down the middle. Cervantes goes up to swing, a whistle before it gets off, and another net violation called against South Tama. 21-9. And the serve this time from Grennan goes long and out of bounds. Point South Tama. Skylar Beck will come on. Maddie Bariski will come on for Veit and Kinsley Bariski. 21-10 the score here as we get close to the tail end of this first set. And here's Skylar Beck to serve now for STC. Beck's serve is picked up. Pretty active offense there as Addie Tupa elevates up from the far corner, drops down a kill, and that will stop a quick run from South Tama. 22-10 after the kill from Tupa. And now Reese Johannes will go back to the line to serve for CPU. 22-10 the score, first set. Johannes right down the middle to Kaylee Brown. Maddie Bariski will just one-hand it over to the CPU side. Hoskins setting up a kill there, and this one goes out of bounds. That was Brindley Havel from the left corner firing away. And it goes down for a point, 23-10, CPU nearing set point here. Johannes all the way on the near side of the service line. Goes right down the sideline, and South Tama has trouble. Cervantes had to go down to the knees to get it, and she can't elevate it quite quick enough, and it goes out of bounds. Now set point, 24-10. Johannes still serving. She's on a little bit of a run here. Beck setting up Welsh, and the CPU block shutting down the attack from Welsh, and that will be the end of set number one. CPU wins it, 25-10. And we'll be right back.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Meet Tommy Hexter, a fresh voice ready to represent Iowa House District 53. Born and raised with values rooted in hard work, Tommy knows what it means to roll up his sleeves and get things done. At just 24, he's already built a record of service and dedication to rural communities. Tommy believes in running our government like a responsible business, reinvesting in what matters most, our people. He's standing up for public education because our kids deserve the same top-notch learning experience Iowa was once known for. He's fighting for small businesses and family farms to keep more money right here in our communities and to challenge the big corporations that want to take over. And most importantly, Tommy is committed to ensuring everyone has access to good food, healthcare, and housing, because no one should be left behind. This November 5th, vote for Tommy Hexter, the candidate who's not just another politician, but someone who truly cares about our future. Join us in making sure Iowa remains the fields of opportunity for all. Paid for by Tommy Hexter for Iowa.
Welcome back, live from CPU High School as we're ready to start set number 2 here between South Tama and Center Point-Urbana. Tonight is Class 3A Region 5 playoff action, opening round, and the winner to advance on to Thursday's second round. They'll face the winner of tonight's matchup between Anamosa and Vinton-Shellsburg. South Tama dropped the first set 25-10. Here they are in set number 2. Skyla Beck will serve first for the Trojans. She's up and away. And CPU rolling here as they start with a quick kill for number 2, Addie Tupa. She's had a few down in that first set. She gets one early here. CPU getting back the serve, 1-0 the score as we start set number 2. The serve from Grennan, returned by the Trojans. Grennan will set it up for Tupa in the corner. And there's a net violation against the CPU Stormin Pointers. That'll give South Tama a point. 1-1 after the error point there. Cervantes serving for the Trojans. And there's another quick kill by Grennan on the return after Cervantes is serving. That's just a place South Tama does not want to be. They want to be able to keep Cervantes at that service line as much as they can. She's been real hot this season, in her serving game, and it gets shut down there real quick. 2-1 the score. Second set. Paisley Bro returning the serve. Big swing from the corner. It's popped up by the CPU defense. And there's a kill error by Adeline Stein. It goes into the net. That'll give a point to the Trojans. Riley Ridout rotating in, the junior for STC. She'll come on for Kaylee Brown. And the senior, Macy Welsh, serving for STC. She's set up on the near side in the service line. Goes right down the sideline, picked up by Hoskins. Little shove over by the block there from CPU. Back and forth. And we have a net violation against South Tama. Point to the Pointers. 3-2 the score. CPU getting the ball back. And of course, tonight's contest, best of 5 action, just like a dual meet. South Tama really needing to establish themselves here if they're going to want to stay competitive in this one against CPU. Ball is on the Trojan side. Big swing from Paisley Bro. 2-player block shuts it down from CPU. Point to the Pointers. That was Trout and Stein, the underclassmen. They've had some young players really contributing. They've got let's see here if I can count them up from their starting lineup. A freshman and a sophomore starting. And South Tama's got some of the youth on their roster as well. Serve from the Pointers, back on the South Tama side. Riley Ridout gets a kill to go right in the middle. Just kind of found an opening in the CPU defense. 4-3 after the kill from Ridout. Erica Weiss checks on for STC. Excuse me, Madison Weiss. I got the wrong first name there. Madison Weiss. Wild back and forth as the serve gets quickly returned. Beck kind of punched it in the air. A one-handed dive from Cervantes. Returns it to the CPU side. It goes off of a CPU player, out of bounds. We're tied 4-4. Good effort there by the Trojans defense. Here's Madison Weiss serving again right down the middle. This one's too long, out of bounds. 5-4 after the service error. And that brings up Adeline Stein to serve for the Pointers. Serve low, right down the middle to Cervantes. She digs it out, setting up a swing from Bro. This one goes off a defender and ricochets out of bounds. 5-4 the score now here in the second set. And here's Scout Ridout, the freshman, serving now for STC, serving right down the middle, picked up by Hoskins. She had to go down to the ground to get it. And this time CPU able, they're just quick on their serve returns. That was Brinley Havel that time. Just putting a dart in the back corner of the South Tama. No, excuse me, this one went out of bounds. I'm sorry, that was a point for the Trojans because it went out. So 5-6 now, South Tama, their first lead. But that quickly goes back to a tie game as the serve from Ridout gets returned for a kill. 6-6, we're tied up. As Adeline Wade, senior back row player for the Pointers, steps on. Serve up and away, dug out by Brown. Cervantes going high up to the corner. And the CPU block ready to go. Trout and Burkhart right there. They're timed out very well. Here's another serve for Wade, this time into the net. And that'll be a service error, point to the Trojans. And we're tied back up at 7. A little bit closer of a start here in this second set. As CPU kind of pulled away early and really didn't look back in that first set. Here's Kaylee Brown now serving for the Trojans. And a service error for Brown. Gives the point to CPU. That'll bring up Brielle Trout to serve for the Pointers. Trout serve right down the middle to Paisley Bro. Beck setting up Cervantes. Little light touch into the middle. Picked up by Trout. Now a big swing by Burkhart. Jousting at the net. And it'll be, I think they called South Tama going into the net, so that'll be a point to CPU, 9-7. The point goes to Center Point-Urbana. Here comes Trout on her second serve. Skylar Beck setting up a big swing from Cervantes. Two CPU players block it. South Tama returns it back to the CPU side. And Burkhart right there, just right in the corner, ready to go. Kind of slips around her two blockers. Swings down a kill for the Pointers. 10-7 now the lead. Trout, long serve. Picked up by Nelson. South Tama almost dropped it. But the Trojans do pass it over to the CPU side. That time number 26 for CPU. Tried a little off speed and this one goes out of bounds. Point to the Trojans and we're at 10-8. 10-8, second set action if you're just tuning in. South Tama does have the serve. This will be senior Skyla Beck. Going right down the middle. Two players collide there for CPU. And it's Burkhart from the corner swinging away. Returned by South Tama. Burkhart again, this time down the sideline. Good diving save there by Paisley Bro. Hoskins has to go behind the back in the back row. And South Tama kind of out of position along the middle position there, and they poke the ball out of bounds. CPU will kind of come away with the point off the volley. 11-8 the score. Second set, and now J.C. Grennan will come on to serve. And Grennan's serve just beyond the back line, out of bounds, point to the Trojans. Jeanette Cervantes rotating in her second serve of the second set here. 11-9 the score. Cervantes' serve returned. Big swing there in the left corner by Tupa, and it ricochets off the two-player block for South Tama. Drops for a point for CPU. 12-9 as they get the serve back. And the Pointers, you know, South Tama has been able to keep things a little closer in the second set, but CPU still in control here. This was Johannes. And Maddie Boriski returns with a big swing. It rattles around twice and then drops. Point to the Trojans. Now a 2-point lead for CPU. 12-10 the score, and Macy Welsh will go back to serve for the Trojans. Kaylee Brown to the bench. And Welsh serving right in the middle. Diving save by Hoskins. Return by Havel. Paisley Bro right down the middle, drops a kill in. That's her first big one of the night, or excuse me, of the second set, I should say. She had a couple in the first set. And here's Macy Welsh serving a second time. Drops one in the middle. And again, South Tama unable to collapse quick enough, as it was number 26 for CPU, just kind of elevating, poking the ball into the middle. Trojans didn't have anybody home, and so that'll be a point for the Pointers, 13-11. Hoskins serving now for CPU. Skyla Beck returning. Tough swing there from Paisley Bro as she kind of just misses the mark on the kill, and it goes into the net. Point to CPU, 14-11 the score. Here's Hoskins' second serve, this time right at Bro. She digs it out. Maddie Boriski swinging in the right corner, and she gets one to drop. And Madison Weiss checks in for South Tama. Weiss to serve. The Trojans trailing by 2 here in the second set, best of 5. Weiss to serve right down the sideline, picked up by the Pointers. Stein pokes it over to the South Tama side. Here's a big swing on a return for Paisley Bro, and she gets a kill to go. Back to a 1-point game, 14-13, much closer second set. After South Tama dropped their first set 25-10. It was a really dominant performance there from CPU. Here's Weiss, second serve, into the back line. And Brielle Trout able to stop the run there from Weiss. Drops in a kill just over the top of the front line for South Tama. 15-13 the score. Nelson will rotate in for Weiss. And Adeline Stein goes back to serve for CPU. Stein right down the middle, picked up by Brown. Little tip over there by Riley Ridout. Picked up by Hoskins for CPU. Little diagonal shot. Trojans with the volley, and that'll be a net violation against South Tama. Point to CPU, they lead by 3, 16-13. Stein serving. And her serve picked up by the Trojans. Paisley Bro went on the attack, and her swing went out of bounds. 17-13. Timeout called by South Tama.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Welcome back. Darvin Graham here with you, live from CPU High School in Center Point, Iowa. South Tama on the road tonight to take on Center Point-Urbana, the Stormin Pointers, in the first round of the Class 3A playoffs. Winner tonight advances on to take on either Vinton-Shellsburg or Anamosa in Anamosa this Thursday. Same start time, 7 p.m. But right now, CPU in control of this match between South Tama. They lead 17-13 out of this timeout. A serve away from CPU onto the South Tama side. Pushed over by Paisley Bro. And another net violation called against South Tama, giving another point to CPU. 18-13 the score, as Adeline Stein still serving here for the Pointers. Stein serve. Down the middle. Bro from the left corner. Light touch. And a big swing there on the return for Maya Burkhart, and she gets a kill to go. A little too fast for the South Tama back line, and it hits the ground. 19-13 as CPU kind of closing things in here as we get to the latter part of this second set. Best of 5 tonight. Stein serving again, this time picked up by Brown. Rid out, off speed in the left corner, returned by the CPU defense. And this one's out of bounds. It was Brinley Havel, the sophomore, swinging a little too far. 19-14, still a 5-point lead for CPU as Scout Ridout will come on to serve for STC. And Ridout's serve just kind of dribbles over the lip of the net onto the CPU side. A big swing there by Burkhart will ricochet off the Trojans' defense. Point to the Pointers, 20-14, a 6-point lead now as CPU pulling away here in this second set. Adeline Wade stepping back to serve for the Pointers. Right in the middle. And South Tama unable to close the gap along the front line. It just kind of dropped easy into the middle of the South Tama defense. The back row unable to come kind of close in quick enough, and it goes into the net. Point to the Pointers. 21-14. And South Tama just caught sleeping again. Trojans really do not appear to be in a good headspace right now as they are kind of dropping some easy points here against Center Point. Another one just went down, 22-14. As Wade still serving. Cervantes, big swing along the left side. This one's good to go. It's kind of a rocketing shot along the sideline. Finds the corner. Trojans stop the run for CPU. They go back to the service line. It'll be Kaylee Brown serving. Up and over for Brown. Trout with a one-hander into the middle of the South Tama defense. On the return, here's Paisley Bro. Kind of gives the fastball to the back line, but it's picked up by Wade, returned over to the South Tama side. Cervantes will try it. She floats one over. Havel to Burkhart. Diving save there by Bro. Pushed over by Cervantes. Good volley here from South Tama. Burkhart again, this time drops one along the line, and CPU keeping things rolling. And Brielle Trout will go to the back line. 23-15, a little bit better of a showing from the South Tama offense on this one, but they're still really unable to keep pace with this CPU Stormin Pointers team. Too many, let's see, a carry was called against CPU this time. 23-16. Nelson will rotate out for South Tama. Maddie Boriski to come in. And after the error from CPU, South Tama will serve. Skyla Beck sends one over. Tupa from the left corner. Picked up by Cervantes. A little punch over from Boriski. Havel right to number 26, and she just kind of throws down it was a kill, and it dropped for a point. Kind of a dunking maneuver there. It wasn't really a swing, more than a dunk. 24-16. Set point in set number 2 as J.C. Grennan steps back to serve for the Pointers. Service picked up by Bro. Passed over for Boriski. And a swing from number 14, Adeline Stein, will close out set number 2, 25-16, set 2 score. CPU needs one more set, and they can close out this match and advance on to Thursday's matchup in Anamosa. We'll be back right after this with the start of the third set.
Listen, switching to Gary Bock State Farm was one of the best decisions I've ever made. About 3 years ago, we moved our personal business over to Gary Bock, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Not only did we save a ton on our rates, but the entire experience was really smooth and hassle-free. Gary and his team are always quick to communicate, and they're available whenever we need them, which is so important in today's fast-paced world. What I love most is that they're locally owned and operated. When you go in there, you know who you're looking at, you know who you're going to see, and that's a huge thing. They truly understand the diverse needs of our community and provide outstanding customer service that's both personal and professional. With over 125 five-star ratings on Google, it's clear I'm not the only one who feels this way. Everybody loves working with Gary Bock. If you're looking for affordable rates and a team that genuinely cares, I highly recommend Gary Bock State Farm Insurance in Toledo. You won't be disappointed. Gary Bock State Farm, here to help life go right.
Welcome back live from Center Point-Urbana High School. Darvin Graham here with you on the call this evening. I'd like to remind you, the Gary Bock State Farm Insurance Agency over in Toledo has their Quotes for Good campaign going on right now. And for every free quote that you get on any kind of insurance product, whether that be home, auto, renter's insurance, pet insurance, business insurance, anything you need, they'll give you a free quote. And as part of their campaign, donating towards hurricane relief efforts in the Southeast, $20 will go towards those relief efforts from Gary Bock State Farm, and the State Farm corporate entity will be matching those donations. So your free quote could render up to $40 donation to support hurricane relief efforts. So make sure you get a hold of Gary Bock State Farm in Toledo. They're going to save you money on insurance. They did with me and my family, and they've been a great partner to work with in our personal life. I can't recommend those folks enough. We do thank them for their support of Trojan Country throughout our fall season. So you can do your part, save some money, and help those out that are in need in the southeastern part of our country. Just you know, kind of going through the devastation that those hurricanes have wrought this year. So be thinking of course, thinking of those folks as they kind of pick up the pieces. And we are back and ready to go here. Start of set number 3. South Tama trailing 2-0 against CPU. CPU serves first. It's back onto their side after it being returned by South Tama. And that was Adeline Stein. We've got 2 Adelines. That's why I keep getting them mixed up. 2 Adelines and an Addie. And I think South Tama's got like four Maddies. 1-0 the score. And Macy Welsh on the serve return drops a kill in, tying it up at 1-1. And Skyla Beck serving now. And the serve ricochets out of bounds. Last touch by the Trojans, point to CPU. They get the serve back. And this is number 7, Reese Johannes, serving away to the South Tama side. Jeanette Cervantes returning it over. Stein, big shot there, but South Tama able to kind of dive around and keep the volley going. Goes back to CPU, now to Cervantes. She swings down the sideline. Dug out by the Pointers. Stein sends it over to Beck. Setting up Bro, little punch over into the middle of the CPU defense. A set and a swing there from Havel on the corner. Trojans pick it up. Cervantes sends it back over to the CPU side. High punch over by Hoskins, and the shot by Havel will drop right in front of the South Tama net. Point CPU, 3-1 the score. Johannes serving again. Right to the back line. And a hard swing there by Jeanette Cervantes into the net. 4-1 the lead now for CPU. Johannes serving again, right down the sideline. Brisky, before it even gets off, there's a net violation called against the Trojans. And that'll make it 5-1. It's a nice looking shot though, but will not count. And Johannes keeps serving here. She's on a bit of a run. She'll go right down the middle, picked up by Bro. Cervantes swinging hard, long, and out of bounds. Maylee Rucker will check in, a freshman. She'll get her first look tonight. Goes in for Cervantes in the back row, and Johannes serving still. The serve bumped, kind of picked up by Bro, and then Beck unable to kind of handle it along the net. We have a timeout on the court. Reminder, we do have our Football Friday coming up this Friday. South Tama hosting the Solon Spartans. That'll be the final week of action for the STC football team. Solon looking for an at-large bid into the 3A playoffs after a couple of losses in district play. But their resume in non-district action has kind of got them in the mix for an at-large bid if they are not automatic. Well, they won't be automatic qualifiers as either a runner-up or a district champion. And it'll be senior night for the Trojans. The cross-country, football, football cheer, and marching band will all be celebrating their senior night activities. So you can look forward to that as well. Coming out of this timeout, CPU is leading 7-1 as Reese Johannes still serving. The serve picked up by the Trojans, sent over to the CPU side. There's Adeline Stein. Big shot from the left corner, goes out of bounds. And it looks like it was last touched by South Tama. And we're waiting for the ball to get returned. So it's going to be a point to the Pointers. 8-1 as South Tama not really responding here in this third set. Serve is away. Rucker with the big shot, this time out of bounds. The attack a little long. Cervantes rotates back in for Rucker. And that'll be an ace for Johannes, so she's on a run here. She goes right to Cervantes in the back row. Just a little too much heat on the fastball, and it just drops for a point. 10-1 here, all CPU in this third set. Set one was 25-10. Set two, 25-16. Here's another serve from Johannes. Returned by South Tama, but that time it was Havel throwing down the attack for CPU. A kill will make it 11-1. And Reese Johannes just on a tear here at the service line for CPU. She didn't even get a start. She's a senior outside hitter, but it's been one of their better servers tonight. Second, the next serve, this time Cervantes getting to the front right corner, elevates and puts a shot down. That'll stop the run for Center Point-Urbana, making the score 11-2. Cervantes will go back to serve. Low serve dug out by Hoskins. Havel into the block, and that will be out of bounds. Last touched by Maddie Bariski, who went up for the block against Havel. 12-2. And there's an ace dropping in for CPU. Hoskins, the server, 13-2 the score. On the other side of the Class 3A Region 5 bracket, there's another ball that gets ricocheted out of bounds. 14-2 now the score. CPU rolling. South Tama is going to call a timeout. On the other side of this Region 5 bracket, the top seed in this bracket, Davenport Assumption Catholic, they were in action or are in action against Benton Community. They have a 2-0 lead in Davenport. And as of last check, Washington also a 2-set lead over Mediapolis. Washington, the 2 seed. Tonight's winner advancing on to take on Anamosa or Vinton-Shellsburg. Vinton-Shellsburg 7-28 record this season. And so Anamosa's pretty heavily favored in that matchup. Coming out of the timeout, a 14-2 lead. For CPU. Gracie Hoskins serving, up and away. Kaylee Brown returns it. Hoskins digs out the shot. Havel, one shot, one-handed return. A little punch over from Paisley Bro. And that'll be number 15, Brielle Trout, shutting down the South Tama front line. Kind of drops in a shot for a point. 15-2 the score. Here's Hoskins again, right down the middle. And Trojans out of position again, struggling at the front line. Another observation too is, you know, South Tama's back line on more serves than not, CPU is forcing the South Tama defender that's picking up the serve is having to go to the ground, to their knees, out of position, just to pick up the serve. Sometimes they do, but I mean, they've got to go an extra mile to just kind of keep pace. There's a kill error from CPU. That'll give a point to the Trojans, 16-3, and so they're back on offense here. Serve is returned onto the CPU side. And Paisley Bro just kind of thwaps one down from the left corner. A kill for Paisley Bro, 16-4. And Macy Welsh will serve for a second time here. Welsh, high serve. Adeline Stein returns it into the back row. Shove over from Skyla Beck. And that was Brielle Trout again. A couple of quick points at the middle hitter position there for Trout. 17-4 as CPU rolling here in this third set. Stein serving. Serve returned by Maddie Boriski. And Burkhart returns it back to the center of the South Tama defense. It rattles around. Paisley Bro elevates, but attacks into the net. Kill error. Gives a point to the Pointers, 18-4. Stein, low serve. Dug out by Cervantes. Boriski trying to thread the needle down the line. It goes out of bounds. Stein keeps on serving. Hannah Houghton will check in for South Tama, another one of the seniors. And Stein's serve picked up by Cervantes. Ridout attacks into the CPU defense, but there's Havel, the sophomore, dropping in a kill as soon as she got the ball back. 20-4. This has been a dominant performance tonight by the CPU Stormin Pointers. And just good teamwork. It's not like they've got a big, you know, 6'1", you know, big swinging outside hitter that's been locking things down. And that kill attempt from Paisley Bro is going to be called last touch by the Pointers. 20-5. Madison Weiss checks on to serve for STC. Houghton back to the bench. Into the game for CPU, number 16, Olivia Covington. Another senior getting a look here for CPU. Here's Bro from the corner, and she'll get a kill to drop. 20-6 now the score. Weiss's second serve coming up. Third set action, 20-6 the score. As Madison Weiss's serve kind of sidewinds down the line. It gets picked up. The punch over by Havel will float out of bounds. Point to the Trojans. Weiss staying alive here. Weiss's serve, third serve, right down the middle this time. Stein goes out of bounds to get it. Cervantes setting up a one-hander there from Riley Ridout. And it was Burkhart and Covington to kind of float in and shut that down on the block. That'll give a point to CPU, 21-7 the score. We've got another player jersey that's not on our roster. Serving for CPU. Ball gets kind of poked around a couple different places. There's a big swing by Stein and a kill. She'll drop one in. Claire Carney checking in for STC for Briley Nelson. And 22 serving for a second time here. Ridout elevates, tries to throw a kill down, and she'll get it to go. Riley Ridout makes it 22-8. Scout Ridout coming on to serve now. Pulling away here in this third and what could be final set. There's a big swing by Burkhardt after the serve from Ridout. It's returned by Cervantes, dug out by Hoskins. Tupa, little two-handed punch over, and she finds just a sliver of daylight to put that ball on the right side of the sideline. Point to the Pointers, 23-8, as Covington will go back to serve for CPU. Carney dives to save it. And Carney's one-handed attempt there, just kind of trying to keep the thing alive, will land just inside the sideline. Point for Kaylee Brown serving. Brown serve in the middle. Little one-handed pushover by number 26. Cervantes. Two-handed shove over, and CPU a little trouble on the sideline. Out of bounds. Trojans keep the serve going. 23-10 the score in the third set. Kaylee Brown second serve. Up and away. Right down the middle. Tupa thought about pulling away, but she went for the return. It ricochets out of bounds. Point to South Tama, 23-11 now the score. And Brown serving again, right to Hoskins. Float over from Tupa. Beck to Cervantes. And this time the attack out of bounds. That'll bring up set point here in CPU. 24-11. And J.C. Grennan Jr. rotates into serve. Burkhardt to the bench. And Grennan, that'll be an ace to close things out. Final score, 25-11 in the third set, and it's a sweep for CPU. They advance on to the second round of the Class 3A Regional 5 playoffs. That'll be the semifinal round. They'll take on the winner of tonight's matchup between Anamosa and Vinton-Shellsburg. On the other side, it looks to be a matchup between Assumption Catholic and Washington. And the winner of that one, that'll be the other side of the other semifinal matchup. And that bracket will conclude on the 29th. That'll be the regional champion at a location to be determined. So the season ends for the South Tama County Trojans, and 8 senior players will conclude their South Tama volleyball careers here at CPU High School. South Tama football wraps things up on Friday. We'll have that broadcast live for you here on Trojan Country. It will be a 7 p.m. kickoff start, so make sure don't forget to tune in at 6 o'clock. We'll start pregame at 6 o'clock and be back, be ready for kickoff at 7. That is all we have for you here this evening from CPU. Hope you have a great night, and go Trojans.